This is another short video to show you how to build an album. There's a ton of different ways to build albums, but today I'm gonna present you my favorite method, which I like. It's really up to you. Some people like to build everything from scratch. Some people like to use the wizard. It's really a matter of taste. If you prefer templates, that's fine with me. So basic stuff. Obviously, well, that's a classic, naming your file, doesn't matter for today. And what I would recommend is that you create your own settings for your preferred album. Most photographers will end up using the same album companies. I don't know a whole lot of people who change from one album to the next. So set up the album the way you want and perhaps save a custom settings. One thing that I do like to do for these is to create what I call top-heavy design. I usually set up the margins in a non-equal setting, so 1.5 by, let's say, 3. Let's see what we get. That's a 12 by 12 album. So what it creates an unbalanced album, which is more dynamic, more fun to look at whenever you have collages made into that design area, which are created by the margins. You can always make the images go full page, doesn't matter, but it's just a matter of taste, so not everything falls dead center in the bullseye. Just like photography, you like to compose a shot and make it uneven, so I see layouts exactly the same way. There should be a subject or something to pull your eye towards one side or the other. It's not just photos on a page. Another thing I like about 12 by 12 is you don't have to do anything if you need to get parents' albums or smaller versions of the album. A square is a square. Don't worry about resolution. If you had enough resolution for a 12 by 12, you'll have enough resolution for an 8 by 8, so don't worry about that. The only thing when creating a smaller album to look for is the size of font. Sometimes if you have very tiny text, going down by about 33% down to 8 by 8 may cause some of the text to become unreadable, so you may want to take a look at this or just remove those type of text if they're very small. Anyways, it's usually a parent album or family member, so you may not produce as many pages or as a complete album as the full 12 by 12. So next, about the photos, just a word of caution: don't pull in 500 images or 1,000 images. There's no way you're going to build an album, unless it's a travel book, build an album with 1,000 images. And the only thing it does is it will confuse you, it will make your workflow a little slower. So the best thing is you process the better images, say 100 or 120 or 80 images, and then save them as JPEGs, and then use these as a starting point for the album. If you realize that there's something missing, or you may want to add a sequence in the middle of the album, that's fine. You can always go back and add more images. But as a starting point to build your album, just start with the basic 80 or 100 images. So select all, add all images. In this case, obviously it's a demo, so I'm not going to use the full set, but it's going to give you an idea of the workflow. Now down to the editor, I'm going to start assembling pages, not so much from a design standpoint, but from a flow. So looking at the images, you can change the thumbnail size, but you've seen the images, so there's no need to preview them in a big, large preview. One thing that you may want to change at this point: some people like spacing, some people don't like spacing. I usually start without spacing at all, so it glues all of the images together. You can always add spacing after, but if you have a preferred spacing value, just make sure it's set at this point. And then what you can start doing is putting things that belong together. So you've got the groom getting ready, you've got details. So this one, the rings, looks like it could be its own page. Don't mess around too much at this point. You could, but I prefer to do that in a larger view. All you have to do is select the images that belong together, holding Shift, and that's the groom by himself getting ready. So let's take those 5 images, drag and drop, and off you go. You've got another layout. You can tweak and play with the different options and see if there's anything you like, but that's going to give you a starting point. So with father and best man, that could be a full page layout. Looks nice. Then we get to the bride getting ready. Same thing, details. Let's do these four. Obviously they show in sequence as they were shot, but they may not belong in the album as a full sequence. So this way, okay, so we've got the bride here. That's the bride by herself. Let's do this and keep building the album. These two images, well actually these three could fit nicely together, but I may want to keep one of them as a standalone image, or actually not use this one. So let's take these two, drag and drop. Anyways, so once you have something that you like and you've done the basic flow, one thing you can do is, or what you should do, is go to the page mode. And at this stage, you can choose how it looks. You can manually resize things if you see something that you prefer. But I like the auto layout because it will give you ideas. Will give you things you may not have imagined or thought of. As an example, that could be very nice if you need to tweak things and resize or reposition the spacing. That could be a very nice layout. One thing you've noticed as well, this is using a white background. If you prefer the black background, just change it right away so you have something that looks the way you like to design albums. But that will give you a very quick and efficient way to build albums. And every now and then you'll come across a page that you want to build manually. Some people like to do the whole album this way, but I just find it too slow as the auto layout is so efficient. You can always add a blank page, and then just, if you have, I was talking about sequences at the beginning of this video, and you want to do 3 images that are exactly the same size, or 5 images, you could build the region where you want those images to live and be, and then just split that frame into as many columns or rows as you want. So in this case we could do give me 5 by 1 and then apply, and it will break this large frame into 5 smaller and equal frames, and then you can pick and choose the images and drag and drop them into position.